Hello everyone, I'm back with another fanfic review. Today we're going to be talking about On Love's Tale, a Dark Souls fanfic. So when you get into smaller communities, that's not necessarily like the IP it's based on is that small, but communities where there aren't that many writers, I find you either have like 20 fics and then one person who's like a super fan has written some like massive one. Like in Mega Man Battle Network, there's one Love Knows No Limit, which is randomly really long, and he put a lot of effort into writing it, but there's literally nothing else in the category. And then you also have something like the Dark Souls, where like basically it's entirely composed of one shots in cases where people wrote like two or three chapters and then gave up. Probably because there isn't that many people like encouraging them. While all content creation is to a certain extent done because of a creative spark, well, at least in most cases, it comes from a kind of creative spark, a desire to express yourself because you have fun doing it. A big motivator is like if you have people actually watching or reading or commenting, even if they're criticizing you, if you're getting some sort of attention. So I think what happens is like if you were writing something in the Naruto or Harry Potter or Avatar: The Last Airbender or something fandom, you'll get like thousands of people reading it just because of how many people check those on a daily basis. If you're in like Dark Souls or some like obscure video game from like 20 years ago, nobody checks that regularly, so they're not going to get very much in the way of traffic. So I think a lot of people just do it and then they're just like, screw this, I'm not going to get, no one's going to read this, and then they just give up. So while this was abandoned, they at least got pretty far. 42,000 words isn't bad at all. So this is On Love's Tale. So this is a romantic comedy set in Dark Souls. And I guess that's not really something you'd think of going together. Dark Souls, I guess maybe romance, like Kieran and Artorias. That didn't really end very happy though. Or any number of like the covenants that are based on beta orbiters who worship some like QT and it winds up destroying them by either just having them die or they get eaten or they get turned into like grubs. So yeah, Dark Souls doesn't really have a good record for romance, and I can't really think of a game other than maybe Solaire that has less in the way of comedy in it. So how are they going to pull this off? Let's just read the description, shall we? Normally, knights and dragons are natural enemies, battling over a beautiful damsel in distress. But what if the dragon is the damsel? Follow an adorably mismatched couple as they journey through Lordran in search of adventure. I really like this description, but what if the dragon is the damsel? Because it kind of is in this case. Because we do have Priscilla, and she is very cute. So this is a chosen undead, in this case a knight. I believe, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. I think it's Sar. I'm just going to pronounce it Sar. And Priscilla is kind of the pairing. So Sar is just in the painted world, and he just comes across her. And as with many people who are playing the game, it's kind of love at first sight. He's like, that's a really hot, really tall dragon lady. And he kind of immediately is just kind of smitten with her. And I find they do him pretty well, but Priscilla's really funny actually. Because she kind of has like a mixture of being super naive and like mommy GF personality, I guess you could say. So like she's just like when Sar eventually comes originally comes across her, she of course speaks in old, and he can't really understand what she's saying, and like no one's ever really talked to her before or anything. And Sar's immediately like, "You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. You're amazing." Etc. And she's just kind of never really been exposed to it, and they're just really kind of cute together because they're just kind of both get infatuated with each other really quick. And I don't know, it's just kind of adorable. It's kind of nice sometimes to have like a romantic plot where there's not a whole bunch of drama and there's not a whole bunch of like, oh, there's some lame misunderstanding or something. So they get together pretty good, and like we get a lot of like they do a lot of jokes and stuff based off of obviously Priscilla's size and her unique physiology, particular the tail. Sar's kind of obsessed with using her tail as a blanket, um, and just kind of cuddling into her, which is pretty funny. It's kind of funny because Priscilla is really, really strong, especially in this story. So, like, while Sar can teleport around using the Lord Vessel, she can't because she's not undead. At least not at the start of the story. So Sar's like, "How are we gonna get anywhere?" And he's like, she's like, "I'll carry you." He's like, "I don't know." And then she just like picks him up and just starts running through the levels. And given her size and strength and stamina, like he said she just runs through the game like in a matter of like hours instead of days, which is what it would probably actually take the chosen undead to travel around. And she has her scythe, and like when they go into the archive, she just literally one shots everything in their path. And it's pretty funny. Like she just one shots everything as they go along. And like they do a lot of kind of funny like jokes based on the fact that Sarah's the chosen undead is immortal and Priscilla is absurdly strong and big. So she keeps killing him by accident. Like in general, she just gives him a hug that's too tight and crushes his bones or suffocates him. Although, as Sar says, being suffocated by being hugged by Priscilla is probably the best way to die. Other than maybe being suffocated by being hugged by Guinevere. That would probably be a bit better. That would probably be the best death, honestly, possible. But like we get some good drama early on. Like they go into the archives and Priscilla's of course Seath's daughter. So he has like this plan where Priscilla has a couple scales, so he's gonna take the scales off of her and then put them on himself and just hold her there for the next 1,000 years while she keeps regenning the scales, and then like Sar comes in and saves her. And it's just really cute. And then they like go back to Firelink Shrine and they like build a house and like Priscilla cooks for him. And it's kind of funny because eventually they run across like other humans and they just aren't really sure what to make of Sar. They kind of think he's both like the biggest Chad who's ever lived, but also completely insane, which I think is probably a good way of thinking about it, actually. Because on one hand, he's married to Priscilla. And if you're married to a hot half dragon lady who's like 3 times your size as a male, then that means you must be doing something right. On the other hand, he's married to a dragon lady who's 3 times his size. So he's got to be kind of crazy. So they aren't really like sure what to make of it. Like, is he a Chad? Is he nuts? Is he some kind of weird combination of the two? And it's in general just a lot happier in tone. Like, Guinevere, I think, is real in this one. So like they have like this big like happy wedding, and basically it's just like a very kind of like sweet waff, I think is the term that they normally use, warm and fuzzy feelings. It's a lot of fun. It's funny. If you're kind of looking for something that's kind of just cute and makes you smile, then I'd probably recommend this. This is a good one. So I'll make sure to include a link down below. Let me know if you enjoyed these reviews and more to come.